Well, my producer's on for a hot minute, but anyway, hello everyone. Hello, my name is Alexandra Levine, live, and we are live with the America's Pulse Network. Tonight, everyone, breaking news. This is the first official breaking news, very important today, that happened at the White House in the Oval Office. President Trump making America fit again. President Trump hosted professional athletes for a new order expanding a presidential sports council, making it so that Americans can be fit. They will be going to more gyms. More gyms will be opening up. There will be more athletic facilities at the White House, more athletic facilities nationwide, especially in our school system. Gym will become a big thing back in the school system. Do you guys remember going to gym class? I know I remember going to gym class. I loved going to gym class. I loved being on the monkey bars. I loved going on the swing set and doing slides. That's what needs to happen. More recess, more gymnasiums, more people playing volleyball and playing kickball in the school gymnasiums, making our kids fit. This also works with the Make America Healthy Again Alliance that RFK Jr., our HHS secretary, has been invoking, removing the synthetic colors and artificial dyes out of our food and making it so that we Americans are healthy again. This is a wonderful executive order. Now Congress needs to codify this executive order and the majority of President Trump's executive orders and move the needle to help we the people, not illegals, not murderers, but to help we the people. I thank President Trump for signing this executive order today. I'll be honest with you, I've never been so happy to go into a gym. I love going to the gym. I run on the treadmill all the time. I go on a rowing machine almost every day. I'm on an elliptical. I'm doing weights. I'm losing weight. I'm in summer body mode right now, so I can get into that bikini and be happy and not have fat hanging out and love handles and all that stuff. So it's really important, guys. It's really important that we as Americans are fit again, that we take care of each other, we take care of ourselves. And if you do have health issues like diabetes and thyroid issues and so forth, it's really important to lose the weight. It's really important to become fit. It's really important to get on your bike, get on that treadmill, go to the gym. I'm telling you, you'll feel a lot better about yourself. Also, if you are a stressed out person, life in itself can be stressful with kids, with marriage, with college, with politics. Take your frustration out on the gym. That's why running on a treadmill is so important. That's why doing crunches. That's why going to a gym is very therapeutic. Doing yoga, taking classes. I take Zumba classes. I love Zumba. You're dancing and you're working every part of your body. I do Pilates as well to stretch my legs out so that I appear taller than what I am. I'm only 5'6", which I know is taller than the average woman. But when you have a mother who's 5'8", a sister who's 5'8", and a father that's 6'2", I'm a little short next to them. So I take Pilates to stretch my legs out, to make me taller than what I am. My sister literally grew a half an inch by taking Pilates. So I know that it works. But guys, please acknowledge President Trump for signing this executive order. Please acknowledge him in a positive way, and please thank him. Second breaking news, very, very important. We'll put up the slide for that. This is so important. The declassified Durham annex, and President Trump said this was going to happen, says Hillary Rodham Clinton personally approved the, quote, idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering the U.S. elections in order to, quote, demonize President Trump. They even admitted to working with the FBI, who, quote, will put more oil into the fire. Arrests now. And I completely agree with this. Kash Patel went in there. He's the FBI director. So did the new Attorney General with the DOJ, Pam Bondi. They exposed all of this. So did Tulsi Gabbard with the DNI. They have exposed that Hillary Clinton, we all knew this. I knew this. My father knew this. Trump supporters knew this. Loyal Trump supporters knew this. But now it's out in the open. Declassified files. The Trump administration declassified all these files. They declassified the Durham annex, which President Trump said he was going to do. He said it to Jonathan Solomon, who runs Just the News. He said he was going to declassify 2 important pieces of information about Hillary Clinton, that she was in charge of orchestrating this fake dossier. To say that Russia colluded with the election because Hillary Rodham Clinton is a sore effing loser. And President Barack Obama, he staged the whole thing too. He wrote in the memo that Russia colluded in the 2016 election, which we all know wasn't true. We all know this wasn't true. President Barack Hussein Obama committed multiple acts of treason here. Hillary Clinton committed multiple acts of treason here. Arrests must be made. We want to see Hillary Rodham Clinton in handcuffs. We want to see it. We want to see Bill Clinton in handcuffs. We want to see Barack Hussein Obama in handcuffs, not subpoenaed. They've talked about subpoenaing the Clintons. No, you don't subpoena these morons. They're criminals. You lock them up, you put them in jail. No subpoenas. No stupid oversight committee hearings. No more hearings. We've had the hearings with this woman. She's a known liar. I don't want to watch a hearing of Barack Obama. He's just going to lie through the whole damn thing. No. Arrest these motherfuckers. Put them in jail. And I'm cursing because I have to curse when it comes to these people because they are motherfuckers. They have ruined our country. They're trying to make our country a socialist nation. They have put so many illegals into our country that have killed innocent Americans. They fucked up our economy. They're the reason why we didn't have jobs for a long time. I'm a professional opera singer. Opera houses were closed all over the country and the world because of Barack Hussein Obama and Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton and so forth. My opera profession was put on hold because of these motherfuckers. So yeah, I'm pissed. I have every right to be pissed. But we have President Trump. Everything is good now. He's making America great again. He's exposing these fuckers. I told you, Barack Hussein Obama is the target. I do believe that President Trump will do something about this man. Even though President Trump said he has presidential immunity, he goes back and forth on it. I think he's playing around. He's toying around with Obama. But it's very important, guys. It's very, very, very important that we call this treason out and we hold these fuckers accountable. The second slide, breaking. The FBI knew the Trump-Russia accusations were likely invented by Clinton, but they ignored that and pushed her Steele dossier anyway. That's what the FBI used to obtain a FISA warrant to spy on Trump's campaign. Lock up James Comey and Hillary Clinton. I agree with this wholeheartedly. I wholeheartedly agree with this. And this is just so important. It's so important. Because, again, the fraud, the treason, it just has to be called out. It just has to be called out. It's very important, guys. It's very, very important that we call out these people, hold them accountable for what they're doing and for what they did. James Comey was the former FBI director. He had a lot of hands in this corruption. Hillary Clinton, too. She lied about Benghazi. She put American lives in danger. She's a terrible human being. So is her husband. Clapper, Brennan, they lied in front of Congress. Edward Snowden actually exposed Clapper and Brennan. Edward Snowden worked with the NSA. He exposed all of that. That's why Trump wants to pardon him. That's why Trump wants to pardon Julian Assange. Because those two men have a lot of information. A lot of information. And remember, the Trump DOJ, they fired Maureen Comey. Thank God, because it's conflict of interest anyway. Maybe they'll subpoena her. Maybe she'll talk. But it's very important, guys. It's very important that we continue to push the real story, the real narrative, that Barack Hussein Obama committed treason. He knew that there was no Russia collusion. And it is proven that he falsely wrote, this is proven by the DNI, that he falsely wrote that there was Russia collusion. It's all been proven. It's all been proven true. Again, let me remind my audience, we are not the mainstream media. We are not fake news. I'm the new conservative media at the White House. I've said repeatedly to my guests and to my viewers that we report the facts and not opinions. Everything that I just said was a fact, not an opinion. It has been heavily put out by the DNI, by the new FBI, by the new DOJ. Again, when my guests come on, we talk about themselves. We talk about what they want to advertise. It's all about them when my guests come on my show. But this is a freedom of speech network, and we do not suppress freedom of speech. Now, if people are saying things that are anti-Semitic, saying things that are not what we say kosher, my producer, he puts up a message. Because there are some things that we do not tolerate. We do not tolerate hate speech on this program. But again, we're talking about the facts here. We're talking about the facts on the show. It's about what the FBI has discovered. It's about what the DNI discovered. Again, the FBI knew the Trump-Russia accusations were likely invented by Hillary Clinton, but they ignored that and pushed her Steele dossier anyway. That's what the FBI used to obtain a FISA warrant to spy on Trump's campaign. Again, that's a fact. That is a fact. So please, guys, please listen to the real news and not the fake news. That's why I say like and subscribe to us. That's why I say to watch us. Because again, we're not fake news. Now we go into segment 1, which is a very tragic story. We'll bring up the first slide. Intimidation versus annihilation. Now, this story was so sad, so sad. I am just so in shock about what I read. So in shock about what I read. Now, I don't know this person personally, but I know people in Virginia that do. He was literally just sworn in as a Virginia city councilman, and this is what happens to him. So, Virginia city councilman was allegedly attacked in his office after someone forced their way inside, poured a 5-gallon bucket of gasoline on him, and set him on fire. Officials say the attack was personal and unrelated to his role on the council. So I actually read that the person that tried to burn him alive, he knew him. That maybe they had an altercation in the past, or maybe there was some brouhaha in the past, and the guy took out his frustration out on the Virginia city councilman. My question is, how was this guy allowed to walk into a building, a county councilman building, with 5-gallon buckets of gas and no one say anything? Nobody questioned it. It's just like the guy in New York City. He just walks into a financial building with a semi-automatic weapon. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Where was the police at this point? Where was somebody questioning this guy and venting him and saying, what's with the gas? And how did it get to the point where the guy was able to just throw a bunch of gas on the city councilman and flick a match on and just burn the guy almost to death? 3rd-degree burns. He's in a burn unit right now. He'll never look the same. He'll never be the same. And he's married with kids. He's lucky he's not dead. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The things that people will do. Liberty Bell said, when did that happen? It happened a few days ago. It's a new breaking story. Mainstream media, of course, doesn't really cover it. But again, I'm not mainstream media. We're not fake news. I will cover this story because I feel so bad for this guy. So bad for this guy. And yes, missing in BC, he is alive, but he could have been dead. When you get almost burned alive, you could be dead in 5 seconds. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. But again, our hearts go out to him. Our hearts go out to his family. And when you have a personal vendetta against somebody, you don't do that. You don't do that at all. It's unbelievable. Yep, you're right, Liberty Bell. Councilman was set on fire in his office. That's what we're talking about. And thank you to the people that said I look very nice and professional. Thank you. This is a very nice couture top with a very nice couture jacket. Thank you so much. I buy most of my stuff from Saks Fifth Avenue, Bloomingdale's, Neiman Marcus. Thank you guys. Thanks so much. I really appreciate the compliments about my outfit and the way I look. And we'll go into segment 3 and we'll talk about fashion a little bit more. We brought it up in our last night on the Pulse, and I'm going to re-emphasize it again. And, Michelle, you have a really good point. He says, I'm shocked to see this. Masked men have been jumping out of vehicles and attacking people. Nothing looks out of place anymore. I agree. I completely agree. I agree with what you said. And my governor, Ron DeSantis, down in Florida, he said, if somebody comes in front of your car and tries to stop you from going to work, you have the right to defend yourself. You have the right to run those people over. It has nothing to do with them being illegal or legal. When somebody tries to hurt your car or causes harm to you or says, get out of the car, it's a carjack, you have the right to run those people over. That's what my governor said. What do you guys think about that? My question to my viewers, my question to my audience. What do you think about that? And everybody has the right to defend themselves. Everybody has the right to defend themselves. But I feel so bad for this Virginia city councilman. Everybody should feel bad. Everybody should feel bad for the Virginia city councilman. Well, Melissa, you're right. My governor was referring to protesters, but he was also referring to anyone that tries to harm you, anyone that tries to stop you from going to work. He was not just referring to the protesters. He was referring to anybody that tries to cause harm to you. And Boomer Tactical, thank you. I agree 100%. If you're going to threaten me, I'm going to defend myself. That's right. That's right. And, there's a libertarian saying you have the God-given right to do whatever you want with your life, provided you do not take that right away from another. I'll say it again. You have the God-given right to do whatever you want with your life, provided you do not take that right away from another. And that's the truth. That is the truth. And yes, my governor at the time was talking specifically about protesters, but he was saying in life, if somebody's coming after you, you have the right to defend yourself in life. Because I'm from the state of Florida. I know my governor. We now have constitutional carry in the state of Florida. He did that on purpose so people can defend themselves. Oh, good luck, Jay said I just switched to the Libertarian Party last week. Good for you. I want to thank everybody for the comments. There's some very nice positive comments out there. I really, really want to acknowledge those people that are sticking to message on the comments and writing very nice comments. Again, we do not, and we will not tolerate anti-Semitic comments. We will not tolerate hate speech, but we will not censor your freedom of speech. So keep that in mind. But I thank you for the engagement. I really do. I thank you guys for the engagement, the smart engagement, the responsible engagement. So I really thank you for that. And someone said I look very Ashkenazi. I am Ashkenazi. That's great. Like, I thank you for that. I am an Ashkenazi Jew. I'm also a Sephardi Jew as well. My family's from Germany. My family's from Poland. So it's all Ashkenazi. So thank you for acknowledging that. My family's also from Spain and Morocco, which is more Sephardi. So thank you. And yes, I am 100% Jewish. Both my parents are Jewish. All four of my grandparents are Jewish. And I take pride in my Judaism. I take pride in being Jewish. And thank you, Tammy. MAGA America. That's right. MAGA America. Yeah, no more woke BS. I agree with that too. But it's really important, guys. It's really important that we focus on the facts here. It's really important that we cannot just sit back and not do anything. We have to fight for our country. We have to fight for our principles and hardcore beliefs, because you never know when a rhino/Democrat will come into your district, into your city, into your county, and mess everything up. Before we close this segment, I just want to let everybody know about our affiliate sponsor, rncstore.com. And Damon Strad will put up the flyer for that. There you go. rncstore.com/ALL. rncstore.com/ALL. Please type in ALL, because that's your discount code. You'll get 10% off everything that you buy. Of course, the more you spend, the more you'll get off. rncstore.com. It's Richard Nutritional store. John Richardson, he's been on my show. He's going to be on my show again August 21st. He is our special guest. He'll probably be on the Pulse as well. And it's a phenomenal store. And what John Richardson created was something that actually helps to cure cancer. Also helps with if you have heartburn, if you have gout, if you have a lot of issues. It is a phenomenal nutritional supplemental store We also have a more natural guy coming on as my special guest coming up after the break. But if you don't put in ALL, you don't get the discount. So you have to put rncstore.com/ALL. Without putting in ALL, you don't get a discount. So rncstore.com/ALL, rncstore.com/ALL. So coming after the break, we have a phenomenal guest. He's new to the program. He's not political, and that's fine. Again, I want to give my guests the opportunity to promote themselves, to talk about whatever they want. Again, this is a freedom of speech program, conservative media, no mainstream media, no fake news. He is a professor of law and director of the Jewish Law Institute at Toro Law Center. Toro Law Center is one of the top law centers in the nation. I have relatives that studied at Toro Law Center, that graduated from Toro Law, and they're doing phenomenally well. And I'm really excited to have this guy on. And he's going to talk all about what he does. He's going to talk about the health of America. So please, guys, stay with me. We will be right back with Sam Levine right after the break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome back to Alexandra Levine Live. I am your host, Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. We have a brand new guest coming on tonight, and he is coming right now. His name is Samuel Levine. We'll put up the image of him. Awesome. He's a professor of law and director of the Jewish Law Institute at Toro Law Center. As I said, Toro Law Center is one of the hardest centers and institutions to get into. The fact that he's a professor of law and he's the director of the Jewish Law Institute shows you what a phenomenal mind he has. And he's got to be good because his last name is the same as mine. I'm a Levine, he's a Levine. So let's bring on another Levine. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you.
Good. I'm sorry about some of the comments tonight, but sometimes it is what it is. A lot of them are bots, so we'll do the best we can to delete some of them. But we do appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Mr. Levine, so tell me about yourself. Tell me how you became a professor of law and director of the Jewish Law Institute, and what do you do currently?
So I attended law school at Fordham Law School in New York. I then got an LLM, an advanced degree in law at Columbia Law School. And throughout my studies, I was very interested in academia. I had connections with my professors. I was a research assistant, and I saw the type of work that they had done. So in addition to practicing law, I was a prosecutor in Brooklyn for a number of years. I went on a career path of being a law professor. So my current position is at Toro Law School, Toro Law Center, as you mentioned. And thank you for your kind words about Toro. It's a terrific place, as you know. And I just completed my 15th year as a professor of law and director of the Jewish Law Institute.
So what do you do in the Jewish Law Institute, meaning in regards to what happened on October 7th, how are you handling that at your law institute?
So the Jewish Law Institute is dedicated to exploring issues within the American legal system that have relevance to Jewish law, to the Jewish legal experience, to the Jewish historical experience. And like many people, after October 7th, a lot of my efforts started going toward focusing primarily on Israel, on anti-Semitism. And I organized a number of webinars addressing specifically anti-Semitism on college campuses, which has been one of the biggest problems that we've seen since October 7th in the United States, but also hosting experts from Israel, from other countries, discussing the war in Gaza.
Yeah, that's really important. And, one of the biggest things that, and we're not going to talk about politics, but I am going to bring this up. that the Trump administration is doing with Secretary of State Marco Rubio is they're revoking a lot of people's visas that do these like pro-Hamas rallies on college campuses. Have you seen a lot of that at Toro? Have you seen a lot of like pro-Hamas rallies happening at the school?
So it turns out that Turo hasn't seen much of that, and we're not sure why. We're certainly pleased that hasn't been the case at Turo. And I appreciate that you're not talking about politics. This really does transcend politics. This is not a political issue, Democrats, Republicans.
Correct.
The anti-Semitism that's been occurring on college campuses throughout the country. And what was remarkable and remarkably concerning about our webinars is that we hosted professors and students from across the country, from Ivy League schools, from the East Coast, from the West Coast, from the Midwest, from the South. And there were so many similar stories and so many different stories that emerged from those conversations. And I'm certainly pleased, again, without getting into any politics, that there seems to be a response now to the anti-Semitism that had taken over so many campuses for so much time.
So you feel that the anti-Semitism has lowered across the country, in your opinion?
I'm not sure. I certainly see a reaction, and we don't see, for example, the level, the degree of the encampments and of the, I don't even call them protests. I think that, I think the more proper word would be riots or something more along those lines of what we saw on the college campuses. And those don't seem to be occurring, certainly with the same frequency that we saw before.
So let's switch to a lot of the awareness that you do. I see that you're very involved with autism awareness. I personally was involved with the Autism Society Summit. I had friends that are autistic, and I would go to their summits that they had here in Washington, D.C., and there's also Autism Speaks as well. So talk to me about that element and how you got involved with that.
So I have both a personal and professional connection with autism and experience with autism. And so a number of years ago, I wrote a book called Was Yosef on the Spectrum? And the book addresses the biblical figure Joseph, son of Jacob from the book of Genesis, and explores the story through the lens of autism. And the response from many, many readers was very positive. I'd say most individuals who have a connection with autism, who have a background and knowledge in autism, understood what I was getting at. And some very prominent individuals, you may have heard of John Elder Robeson, for example, who wrote the bestseller Look Me in the Eye about his own experiences on the autism spectrum, thought I was really on. And I took that encouragement to establish and initiate the Disability Rights and Inclusion Project at Turo Law School. For the past several years, we've been having programs and actually conferences, national and now international conferences, addressing both autism in particular and more generally disability rights and awareness.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And there's a lot of legislators, that want to put more legislation to helping people with autism. And what I really loved about the Autism Society Summit and Autism Speaks is it had success stories of people with autism. I mean, we have autistic people that are a part of the Department of Labor. We have autistic people that are professional actors and actresses making a lot of money. Elon Musk has spoken out about his autism, and he's almost a trillionaire. So what say you about that? There are people out there that do have learning disabilities. They feel that they'll never amount to an Elon Musk, or they just feel like they're going to be living with their parents in their basement forever. What is your encouragement to those type of people to tell them, it's going to be okay and you will be successful? You just can't think that because you're autistic, you can't do these things and you can't be successful.
So as it turns out, the term has been used to include a very broad range of individuals. And without getting into the weeds, the DSM over time changed its labeling of individuals and the diagnosis. So what we used to call Asperger's doesn't exist anymore under the DSM, and now it's part of autism. But there's also been a pushback because there's a condition that some call profound autism. And you wouldn't necessarily, and you really wouldn't, categorize, for example, some individuals who have profound autism with Elon Musk. We're not talking about the same type of personality, the same type of neurotype, as we call them. So I think it's important to recognize that. But with that said, the reality is that there are many, many individuals on whatever range of what we call the autism spectrum who can reach their potential with the proper supports and the proper settings. And that potential might be Elon Musk. It might be a rocket scientist. It might be a very successful actor, as you're referring to, or it might be someone who gets a job folding laundry and enjoys the job and contributes to the hospitality industry, for example, by doing that job and doing it well. And we have to be careful not to condescend, to do our best, not to exclude someone because of their level of ability or disability.
Well, let me ask you, because there's this concept of being on the spectrum. And I've met a lot of people that say that they were okay in their 20s and 30s, and then they felt that they were a little autistic towards when they turned 50s and 60s and 70s. And they say that they're on, quote, the spectrum. Kind of, I would say, elaborate on that a little bit for my audience. What does that mean to be on the spectrum? Is it possible that someone who, went through life, their whole life at 20, 30, 40 was never diagnosed as being autistic, then all of a sudden at 60, they're diagnosed as being autistic? Explain that to my viewers.
Yes. I don't claim to be, a clinician or an expert, but I've certainly spoken and researched enough in the field to feel comfortable saying that there are many, many individuals who throughout their life had these social challenges, these difficulties relating, understanding their place in society, understanding their place in social settings. And then as autism started to become more widespread, not in its occurrence, but in our understanding, society's appreciation of what we mean by the autism spectrum, a lot of adults one day realized, wait a second, that explains a lot. That explains what I went through as a child when I was often ostracized, not because of anything I did wrong, because of what people were doing to me, because of the bullying I experienced. And that's a concern that we as a society should be more attuned to. And the fact that we weren't equipped, we didn't have the wherewithal or really the will to address those issues decades ago doesn't mean that when someone's 50 years old, we shouldn't say to them, okay, now we understand what you were going through, and now we should provide you the supports to continue moving forward.
That's awesome. I think that's phenomenal. Another thing that happened, of course, is the issue with Israel and Iran. And as someone who's a Jewish Law Institute, you're explaining the laws of the land. Elaborate on that. Talk about what you discuss with your students when it comes to them becoming lawyers, if they want to become international lawyers in regards to foreign affairs. How do you educate them on what's going on in the conflict of Israel with Iran without getting political?
Well, I think it's really important to have experts in the field and impartial, intellectually honest experts in the field. And we see so much bias in the press, in the media, in the UN, and other settings. So, for example, I hosted Judge Roy Altman. Judge Altman is a federal judge down in Florida and an expert in international law. And when you speak to someone like Judge Altman, you are getting the law. You're getting someone who is a Yale Law graduate, top of his class, federal judge. And he looks at the situation, whether it's the war that's going on now, whether it's the way Iran threatens Israel, whether it's the legitimacy of Israel as a state. And he looks through the prism of legal issues. And what we sometimes hear in the press when they talk about quote unquote international law is not really law at all. It's really a biased view of the policy considerations, attitudes towards what Israel should or should not be doing. And those are typically not based on a legal analysis. So I think it's important for me to bring my students back and to emphasize that we as lawyers, they as law students and soon to be lawyers, have to acknowledge and have to understand that we do have a legal system. War is the worst of all situations, but we have laws of war. Mm-hmm. And by any fair assessment of what's going on in Gaza, for example, Hamas is by definition an entity that commits war crime after war crime. And no country is perfect. No war has ever been prosecuted perfectly. But if Israel commits war crimes, Israel itself investigates those war crimes and has a very respected legal system to address those issues.
I agree with you on that. I highly agree with you on that. And, President Trump just signed an executive order today, making America fit again. And again, that is not a partisan issue. That's just a life issue. I do believe that if people are more physically fit, they're more mentally sound, they feel better about themselves. When you look good, you feel good, you basically are good. You have good self-esteem about yourself. What say you about that? About, going out in the world and, you're helping out with the next generation of lawyers. And they're looking at the executive orders that President Trump's putting into place. They're starting to codify DOJ laws as well. And again, your law students are learning the Constitution. They have to adhere to the Constitution, the Supreme Court, and so forth, and the laws of the land. So when President Trump puts these executive orders or codifies DOJ, what is the reaction from some of your law students?
Well, I think students, on the one hand, law students in law schools, I think it's fair to say generally, without quantifying what's going on at Durham in particular, I've never polled my students or my faculty, but law schools are pretty liberal places. So I think there is a kind of visceral reaction toward anything that President Trump does in some ways. But at the same time, there's an increasing awareness of the need for balance, particularly among lawyers. The practice of law can be very challenging and not always a very happy place. Your job is to represent your client, and that's something that students and lawyers do embrace. But at the same time, your job is typically going to be to argue and can be very contentious. That's the nature of legal practice. So it's very important for students, and I think they're more and more recognizing the concerns for mental health, for physical health. And as you said, without that physical health, everything else can really fall by the wayside. So I think without getting into whose idea it was, the idea itself is a very good one. And I think my students certainly recognize the importance, and I encourage them very strongly to keep up their good habits, to make sure they're sleeping well, to make sure they're exercising well, to make sure they're eating well. Because I've seen way too many lawyers who haven't been able to maintain that in their practice, and the consequences can be very devastating.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, the first year of law school is the hardest. It really is. I mean, you're up all day and all night. I was very fortunate when I went to school in Cambridge, Massachusetts, which is right near Harvard Law School. I had a guy in my apartment building, and I never saw him because he was constantly in his room studying all day and all night. And he was Jewish and very kosher. And I kept kosher. I still keep kosher to this day. And I would knock on his door and I'd say, "Hey, I'm going to the kosher butcher. You want me to pick up some food for you?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's fine." He's like, "But just leave it outside my door," because he was studying. And because of him, because of his efforts, he graduated valedictorian of his class. He was in the same class as Ben Shapiro. So he graduated first, Ben Shapiro graduated fourth. So that tells you a little bit about this guy. And then he ended up working with the Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas and working with Brett Kavanaugh. And now he has his own law firm in DC, and he's kicking butt. And he was originally from Canada. And his wife is also an attorney as well. His name is Jacob Roth. Great conservative. If you know his name, you know him?
I know him, yeah.
How can you not?
Yeah,
but he's a great guy. But he graduated valedictorian in front of Ben Shapiro, and he was just very strict with his studies and very smart guy. And that's kind of how you have to do it, to be good and to survive in law school and in law today. So I want to say thank you very much for coming on. We just have 30 seconds left. Tell my viewers how we can find you. Tell my viewers how we can look up your book and so forth. And any lectures that you're giving, please let us know.
Thank you. So my book is on Amazon and on the publisher's website, Durham Publications, URIM. But it's usually easier to find it on Amazon. Was Yusuf on the Spectrum. You can find my name. I have a couple of other books actually on Jewish law and American law for those who are interested in the legal side of things and legal doctrine, also available at Touro University and on Amazon. And you can find me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and various other sites.
I think that's how I found you, was on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
So he's real, everybody. He's real. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for being in my lion's den. And we really appreciate it. We hope that you come back. We really do.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. And we will be right back right after the break.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine.
I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did. Well, hello, everyone. Hello. This is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. Thanks for sticking with us. Heading now to segment 3, Wokeness versus America First. Well, this is still a big controversy in the news about this actress, Sydney Sweeney, who did a remarkable ad with American Eagle. And she was advertising jeans, Jeans, not jeans, Genes. And that's what it says. That is her tagline. If you go on the American Eagle website, that is what pulls up. Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Does it say Genes? No, it says Jeans. And to be honest with you, when I saw the ad, it propelled me to buy a bunch of jeans. And people that are, you know, Republican, Democrat, Independent, they bought those jeans. I mean, her stock, I would say American Eagle stock went up 10%. 10% after that ad and after the controversy of the ad. Anybody remember Brooke Shields? Does that ring a bell? She advertised for Guess jeans, and she was 16 years old. She was underage when she was advertising for Guess jeans, and they said the most provocative things about her. She was sexually harassed because she was this beautiful young girl with these thick, we call them the Brooke Shield eyebrows, with long, dark, curly, wavy hair, and she's just walking around her jeans. And she gave the same slogan that Sydney Sweeney did. And Sydney Sweeney, like myself, has great assets. We're both natural from here to here. She promotes a lot of stuff, wearing very tight things, because it's hard when you're well endowed on top to cover that up. And if you watch the ad, it shows her with her cleavage, and there is a segment of the ad where she's not wearing a bra, but she has the jean jacket over her breasts, and she's putting the jeans on. And she's focusing on the jeans. She's not focusing on her jeans, Genes, or being blonde-haired and blue-eyed. And so she says, my jeans are blue. But the fact that these woke lib people, it's called like the code pinks of the world. The fact that they went to the extreme and said that she was referring to her jeans, Jenes, is just insane. It's very, very insane. I feel bad for Sydney Sweeney that she had major backlash for something that didn't need to have major backlash. But I also applaud her for not responding, for laughing it off, for not having a contentious tumult with the other side. She just kind of let it be. And did American Eagle take her off the billboard? No. Did American Eagle say, we got to retract this? No. American Eagle kept it on. And if you never knew what American Eagle was, now you do. A lot of people I talk to don't even know who Sydney Sweeney is. They have no clue who she is. I tell people she's an actress. I've showed them the movies that she's been in. She also does a lot of makeup and skincare campaigns. She's one of the spokespeople for a skincare line in Sephora called Laneige. So she's known out there. She's very known. So it's very important to recognize, and it's very important to realize that all Sydney Sweeney was doing was just promoting the jeans. Jeans. And now there's another controversial video of a main actor, a known actor, who did an ad with Dunkin' Donuts. And of course, the libs are going off on this one. Let's play that video.
Look, I didn't ask to be the king of summer. It just kind of happened. This tan? Genetics. I just got my color analysis back. Guess what? Golden summer, literally. I can't help it. Every time I drink a Dunkin' Golden Hour refresher, it's like the sun just finds me. So if sipping these refreshers makes me the king of summer, guilty as charged. The Golden Hour refresher, only at Dunkin'.
So does that look racist to you? Does that look like he's promoting his genes? He was saying that the summer gives him a nice tan. Summer gives me a nice tan. You can see my arms. I'm more tan now than I ever am. I'm going to get more tan. Believe me, that's where spray tans come in and self-tanners. But I'm looking at that as a woman and I'm like, that guy is good looking. I want to buy that refresher. And who was this advertisement catering to? Was it catering to men? No, it was catering to women. Most women most men don't drink Dunkin' refreshers, but women do. And women will drink refreshers now because they saw that guy. But of course, the Code Pinks of the world, the racists of the world, they're mad because it's a white guy who's promoting the golden hour refreshers from Dunkin' Donuts. The guy's a good-looking guy. It makes you want to go out and get a refresher. And Sydney Sweeney is a beautiful woman. And I know, because I talked to a lot of guys, they're going out and buying American Eagle jeans. And a lot of women are too. So great job to American Eagle. Great job to Dunkin' Donuts for putting these two beautiful people as your spokespeople. Because majority of people like to look at pretty things. Majority of American people like to look at someone who's trim and thin and puts themselves together and has certain assets. You can't deny that Sydney Sweeney is well endowed. You can't deny that the actor, I don't know his name, I think his first name is Max, for Dunkin' Donuts is a good-looking guy. And very physically fit. And honestly, those ads made people like myself and others that normally don't drink Dunkin' Donuts refreshers and don't wear American Eagles jeans go out and purchase them. They got a lot of new clients. A lot of new clients from those ads. You can't deny that. And this is what people have said. Let's put up the second slide by Evan Kilgore. He said, this is how we save America. Make advertising hot again, pass it on. And I agree. Look, I'm dressed in a way that shows my assets because I have them. I can't hide them. And I'm promoting myself on the network. I'm making media beautiful again. There's another girl in media who works in the war room, Natalie Winters. She's a very attractive woman. She's very well endowed as well. And people have commented on the way she looks and how she wears her clothing. It's very hard as women when you are well endowed to cover everything, to suppress what you have. That's why we say embrace it. They say if you got it, flaunt it. And as someone who is a professional opera singer, we've had to dress in all of these different types of costumes from all these different types of eras. But what I'm wearing today is a very contemporary outfit. Summer colors. This is a summer color. And I'm wearing a tank top shirt. And that's what girls my age wear. It's a very youthful look. This is what Caitlyn Jenner would wear. This is what, not Caitlyn Jenner, the other one, Kylie Jenner and Kendall Jenner, the models. This is what they wear. This is what Sydney Sweeney wears. This is what young 20 to 30-year-old girls wear. So I'm wearing clothes within my age group. I'm advertising within my age group. I also wear perfume. I also get my hair done every week. I wear makeup every day. That's who I am. People happen to like and love the way I look. And I thank some of the viewers today that commented on the way I look. I appreciate that. Because it's about putting yourself together. In those advertisements, Sydney Sweeney is putting herself together. And the actor guy, he put himself together in that ad and he advertised for that refresher. So why is the woke culture getting so upset over this? They need to wake up and realize that President Trump won and that he's all about making America great again, making America beautiful again, making America strong again, making America rich again. That's why President Trump hires a lot of beautiful women and beautiful people around him. It makes our country look rich. It makes our country look appetizing. It makes our country look better. Under the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris administration, everybody looked like a slob. Kamala Harris wore pantsuits every day. Hillary Clinton wore pantsuits every day. A real woman doesn't wear a pantsuit. She wears a nice dress and a nice skirt. Women are starting to look like women. Men are starting to look like men in the Trump administration. What did the Biden administration invite? Men that dress as women. Transgenders into the White House administration. Made that a thing. No more. Let women be women and let men be men. And enough of this. Enough of the woke culture trying to crap on American culture. Speaking of an America First guy, don't forget my friend Tim Fazenbaker. He is an elected official in Baltimore County. He's running for Baltimore County Council District 9, one of the most MAGA/America First districts. It is his to win. He is having an amazing event. We'll put up the flyer this Sunday. You do not want to miss it at the Bayview Barn Grill in Dundalk from 4 to 7 p.m. That is 4 to 7 p.m. Special guest is the next governor of Maryland, Republican John Myrick, with our next Baltimore County executive, Kim Stansberry. You don't want to miss it. Everybody says, oh, I never get to meet the elected officials. I never get to meet the candidates. Well, now is your chance. Please come and support Tim Fazenbaker. Please RSVP. It is free admission, but drinks and food are not included. But you can come and meet the candidates. Again, meet Tim Fazenbaker, who's running for Baltimore County Council District 9. John Myrick, who's the Republican candidate. He's the only declared Republican candidate for governor of Maryland. And Baltimore County executive candidate Kim Stansberry. Again, please go to timfazenbaker.com. That's Tim, FAZENBAKER.com. Make a donation today if you cannot attend, but make a donation anyway. People have been donating to Tim like crazy. $500 here, thousands of dollars there. They have been pouring the money at him. They love him. They want him in this seat. This is his seat to win. The incumbent is not running again. Please, guys, let's put a MAGA guy in a MAGA district. Do not let them rhino your Dundalk. Do not let them rhino your Edgemere. Again, go to timfazenbaker.com. And of course, we have our good friend Seth Eisenberg of the Conservative Corner. He is still raising money for his GoFundMe. Remember, he had a very bad staph infection in his foot. He almost lost his foot. He was in the hospital for over 34 days and he lost work, and he has a son that he supports and a household to keep. And unfortunately, he's behind on his bills. So instead of giving to murderers and illegals, give to Seth Eisenberg. He served our nation. He was in the Navy. Go to his Give, Send, Go /Joan Eisenberg /overcome/health/crisis. We've raised over $6,500 for him. The goal is $25K. The ultimate goal is $100K. We want to get this man back up on his feet, and we want him up and running, and we want him to be okay. And we pray again for the healing of his foot, and we pray that he gets better. And guys, please go to my friend Allison Reedy, her Give, Send, Go. She's raising money for her son, Dylan Reedy, who's on his way to college in Utah at a state tuition. They're based in Michigan. He wants to go to one school, and that is in Utah, in Salt Lake City. He wants to live the American dream, and we, the American people, should help him get there. Please go to givesendgo.com/constitutional. His parents and his family are extremely America first, pro-Trump people, pro-gun, very conservative. and they want their son to have the best education. But as you know, out-of-state college tuition is very expensive. So please, guys, go to givesendgo.com/constitutional. And of course, our third fundraising campaign is my friend Lucretia Hughes. Unfortunately, she lost her home. Somebody forged her husband's signature on paperwork so that they were evicted from their home. They don't have a home right now. They're temporarily living at a friend's house, but they need to get back to their home. She's already filed lawsuits with the state, with the state's attorneys, with the county sheriff. She's working with the governor of Georgia. She's based outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Please, guys, go to givesendgo.com/retake our home. This woman is a patriot. She has her own show Monday through Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. She's a great mind. She's a Black woman. She's a Black Republican. She is an amazing human being, a patriot to this nation. Again, stop giving money to illegals and criminals and murderers, and give money to Lucretia and Allison Reedy and Seth Eisenberg. Again, go to givesendgo.com/retake our home. And again, don't forget, we have an amazing show every Wednesday night, The Pulse, from 8 to 9 p.m. We had some great guests last night. Every week is a different guest. We have rotating guests. We have two new different rotating guests that come on our show. And we love The Pulse. It's getting so much buzz. It's a phenomenal show. It's usually a panel of 5 with all different opinions. We talk about various different topics, about breaking news, about things that have gone on throughout the week. So please tune in every Wednesday, to the Pulse on the America's Pulse Network. And again, don't forget our show, The Jersey Shore, every Monday night from 8 to 9 p.m. with Damon Galdo. Follow Damon Galdo at Damon Galdo on Facebook, at Damon Galdo on Twitter. And I think Damon Galdo is on TikTok now too. And don't forget, he's also on every Friday night from 8 to 9 p.m., The Jersey Shore, with a repeat of his radio show. Again, follow Damon Galdo at The Jersey Shore. He's on Monday nights and Friday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. And of course, don't forget to listen to our Popeye the Sailor Man, our friend Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner, every Sunday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. That's 7 to 8:30 p.m. Don't forget to follow Seth at the Conservative Corner on Facebook, at Conservative Seth on X. And he's on at the Conservative Corner on Rumble. His Rumble channel is booming. He's a great mind. He tells it like it is. He doesn't hold back. And your discretion is always advised. But he is an awesome patriot. Again, he served our nation. Don't forget to watch him and follow him every Sunday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe our show. Don't forget about my affiliate sponsor, rnc.com/ALL. We'll put that up again right before we leave. Damon Straub will put up that. There we go. rncstore.com/ALL. Again, that is my affiliate sponsor. If you go on rncstore.com/ALL, type in ALL, you get a 10% discount. If you don't put in ALL, you don't get the discount. Again, the more you spend, the more you get off. He has apricot seeds there. He has multiple things to help with your immune system, to prevent against cancer. If you currently have cancer, he has things there to help reduce the cancer. So please, guys, go to rncstore.com/ALL. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to the America's Pulse Network. You can follow us at America's Pulse Network on Rumble, at America's Pulse Network on X, at America's Pulse Network. Now we're on Parler, and at America's Pulse Network on True Social. And we are also on TikTok at America's Pulse Network on TikTok. And of course, you don't want to forget about me. Don't forget to follow me, Alexandra Levine, on Facebook, at Alexandra LEVI20 on X, at ARLevine85 on my Instagram, at ARLevine85 on my True Social, at ARLevine85 on my Rumble channel, and I will be getting a TikTok. I'll be putting up very soon at ARLevine85 on TikTok, and don't forget, at Levine Consulting on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for all of the comments, the good comments that came out today. Thanks so much. And the reason you listen, guys, and the reason you watch is you are no idiot.
There's one big voice, it's our time. Generation fighters take the stand. From shore to shore we reclaim the land. Grit and glory in every strand. In Jersey Shore we make our stand.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.